The Global Anti-Corruption Coalition Transparency International has rated Nigeria the second most corrupt country in West Africa after Guinea. In the 2021 Corruption Perception Index released by the Transparency International on Tuesday, Nigeria dropped 5 places, scoring 24 out of 100 points in the index. This is coming against the backdrop of the federal government's avowed fight against graft. Nigeria's current 154 ranking out of 180 countries in the 2021 Corruption Perception Index is a drop of 149 in the 2020 index. The report was released exclusively in Nigeria by the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, which is the national chapter of Transparency International here. And we'd also look at the report is the executive director of CISLAC, Awal Ibrahim Musa Rafsanjani. It's a pleasure having you on Sahara TV, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Let me first of all get your reaction, sir. It is Nigeria's second consecutive year of a downward spiral on the TI's CPI ranking. And officials of President Buhari's government have been discrediting the country's latest position on the 2021 Global Corruption Index. The Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity yesterday, that's Femi Adesina, says that the report of Transparency International on corruption in Nigeria is unacceptable. In fact, he was quoted to have said that the war against corruption under the Buhari administration does not need the validation of Transparency International. What's your reaction to this, sir?
This is a very sad comment coming from a spokesperson of the president who said that he wants to fight corruption. I think, it is a self-indictment. It shows that there was no sincerity in all the campaign and the promises and the so-called commitment to fight corruption. When they come, they face this corruption on a regular basis. And, it is quite unfortunate that even government agencies are indicting government agencies for corruption. The recent report by the Auditor General clearly is even more damning than the report that Transparency International is issuing. Equally important, the Nigerian Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative report in the area of extractive sector, where non-remittance are recording very high volume. It's also another indicator that things are not going well. Even government reports, for example, EFCC, ICPC, all the times they keep on arresting, public official. Just recently, ICPC arrested 2 public officers for, illegally owning over 300 houses in Abuja. And EFCC had also been recovering money from so many people who are embarking on economic, crimes. So if you put all this with the complaint that even the president made recently about budget padding by the National Assembly, these are things that you do not need anybody to tell you that all things are not well. Also, equally important, when you look at how Nigerians are facing this corruption, which led to insecurity on the lives and properties of Nigerians, you do not need to be told that things are not okay. If you look at how Nigerians are finding it difficult to access public services, getting passport, international passport, getting driver license, getting access to medical care, getting access to university admission, recruitment into government jobs, you all have to pay bribe. Land, corruption, even in Abuja, for you to get land, you cannot get land. Even if you allocated the land, some people will, make it impossible for you to even have the land. So these are things that are going on a regular basis. Political corruption is also on the high. You see how, politically exposed person are perpetuating corruption and nobody is saying anything, nobody is investigating them. Look at the recent Panama and Pandora as well as Paradise scandal. Nigerians public officials are involved. Nobody has investigated them. Nobody has, put any sanction. So to tell you that corruption has found its way very well in Nigeria, it is no longer a news. And the inability of the official government to take decisive action to block leakages is what is seen, clearly. Now, Nigeria loses estimately $18 billion every year, and government has not been able to block those leakages. Recently, ECOWAS issued a report. Nigeria is part of ECOWAS. Issued a report showing hundreds of millions are passing through financial system of Nigeria to finance terrorism in Nigeria. Yet the government and its agencies, did not take any action. So if any government official that comes to dismiss this report, it shows you clearly how corruption is endemic, how corruption is celebrated by public officials who have no shame, to come and dismiss what Nigerians are going through. The extortion that Nigerians are going in the hands of police, and other security agencies, Nigerians are seeing this on daily basis. Just try go hospital, see whether you can be treated without paying bribe. Try and go and see if you can get admission in any Nigerian school without you being given bribe. Even to get, there's nothing that you can get in public sector now without paying bribe. Nigerians are dying in poverty, in misery. Even the so-called government intervention that they do give, they will give you half, you sign for the pool, and the half of the money is taken by officials. These are things that are very clear, and that you do not need anybody to tell you that things are not going very well. Look at the procurement system in the country. There's so much fraud and corruption in the procurement system, despite the law that we have on public procurement. So for any spokesperson of government to come and dismiss this, because simply it is because they are beneficiary of the corruption. From the bad system.
Now, let's take this further. I mean, many Nigerians have actually slammed President Buhari for maintaining this downward trajectory on the index, calling the anti-corruption war of this government a farcical tragedy, despite their so-called anti-corruption mantra. Now, where does Nigeria's fight against corruption stand at the moment, and how do you characterize this government efforts in that regard?
Well, let me also make it clear, this report is not measuring the performance of government anti-corruption. Neither is it also evaluating EFCC or ICPC or Code of Conduct or even the Auditor General Office. It is simply looking at public sector corruption, which is a threat to development, to democracy, to the survival of Nigeria. No. That is number one. Number two, when you put it side by side with what government commits itself to do, you will have also discovered that, yes, despite the effort that some of the government agencies that are fighting corruption are doing, they are equally being demoralized. For example, somebody who is being investigated for corruption and in fact taken to court by government agency that is fighting corruption, suddenly because he had become or she has become to the ruling party, his case is stagnated, and in fact, in some instances, standing to take photo with the president. So tell me, how can an anti-corruption agency who they are now investigating, a corrupt suspected corrupt person, they see that person now standing side by side with the president taking photograph? They're already demoralizing them. Okay, exactly. Some of these people, they ended up being appointed into government offices. Look, fight against corruption is not a propaganda, it's not also a talk show. It is a serious issue that involves really providing, legal framework, policy framework, compliance, enforcement, and ensuring that Nigerians understand and avoid any opportunities that will lead to corruption, in Nigeria, which this government are apparently not bothered to do that because they lack understanding on how to fight corruption, and they are so arrogant, and because there is no sincerity in it, they refuse to get support from those experts that can support the effort they are doing. It is not about garagara, making media arrest, and tomorrow you release them, you go to court, you are defeated because there was no thorough investigation on whatever you are doing. It is not those garagaras that is called fighting corruption, or you just get so-called conviction of 2,200, of people who are doing, small crimes, as good as it is to also investigate and arrest that. But the politically exposed person whose corruption is affecting millions of Nigerians is being overlooked. by those who are supposed to take action. This is not part against corruption. Again, fighting corruption, it involves bringing all hands together at state, local, and national level. This government has failed woefully to bring in even one state to inculcate that state into fight against corruption agenda. Fighting against corruption, is not just some talk show by the presidency. No, it has to be done at the local government level, at state level, at federal level, at various ministries and parastatals. And now you see that major government agencies have no business with the anti-corruption agenda. Yeah. Take, for instance, what is CBN doing with regard to anti-corruption that will allow $18 billion to be leaving Nigeria annually? You have not blocked that, and you say you are fighting corruption. Look at the leakages that are in various areas, even in our revenue, and you have not seen anything wrong with that. Look at how people have supported public taxpayers' money. Even the president is complaining that the National Assembly are perpetuating budget padding, and you do not do anything on that. And you are telling Nigerians that the report is nothing to write about. Remember, in 2016, when Buhari came in 2015, on the 2016, simply because of the perception of body language of Mr. President, the rating changed. Nigeria improved, and this same shameless government official were clapping, were celebrating that yes, even TI is rating them good. But when they are not doing the right thing, TI continue to show in its index, which is also an index of various sources, credible, well acknowledged, reputable organizations that are conducting survey, which some of it, even Nigerian government, is part and parcel of some of these groups. So you just wonder whether this country or whether this government official are even serious about fighting against corruption.
Now let me also get this from you. Considering all these weaknesses, you outlined so many of the weaknesses that needs to be plugged during your press conference the other day. Would like you to help us put this in a proper and a broader perspective for our viewers. What has been revealed by Transparency International in its index to be the root causes of the substantial low CPI score for Nigeria?
There are quite a number of issues that this report looks at, would continue to make this report, to be very negative for Nigeria.
Yeah.
The bribery, that is going on in the country is one of it. The abortion of public funds is one of it.
Yeah.
Ability of government to contain corruption and impose, effective integrity mechanism in public sector that is not there is one of it. Red tape and excessive bureaucratic burden which increase opportunities for corruption is one of the things that we are seeing, Also issues of meritocratic versus nepotism appointment in civil service is also one of the issues that this report is also looking at. Effective criminal procedural prosecution of corrupt officials is also one of the things that this, ranking, and rating is also looking at. Adequate laws on financial disclosure and conflict of interest prevention of public officials is also one of the things that this rating is also looking at. Legal protection for whistleblowers, journalists, and investigators when they are reporting cases of bribery and corruption is also one of the things that this also ranking is looking at. State capture by narrow vested interest is also one of it. Again, access of civil society to information and public affairs is also one of the challenges, and that's why things will not go this way. Again, justice, issues of rule of law, issues of shrinking of civil space. These are all things that the report is looking at, and as long as you do not improve on all these areas that I mentioned, the rating will not change. So it is not about attacking TI or attacking us. it is about you taking steps to close this. Remember, TI has rated other countries like America, Europe, Asia, and Africa. Many countries, were rated low. For example, last year we rated America very low. They fall down. They did not abuse anybody. This year, their rating improved because of also the new leadership that we have seen in America that is trying to address so many of those, issues that led to the fall down of the ranking, for America. The same thing was Britain. The same thing was France. This year, America is still not gone up in terms of improving its ranking, but it is maintaining its last year position. Canada has come down. Belgium has come down. Switzerland has come down. But these countries that have been rated low, they did not come to abuse TI or abuse the anti-corruption fighters. What they do, they say, okay, please, can we come and discuss how we can close or how we can, block the leakages? That is strategic partnership. But the arrogant, corrupt public official in Nigeria, they would rather insult you and dismiss it rather than saying that, okay, how do we do this? Because non-state actors are willing and happy to continue to support government and their effort in the fight against corruption in Nigeria.
Now, let's get this final, because we are actually running out of time. I mean, moving forward, what's the most important requirement to move the fight against corruption forward? And what's the next step in this fight? And what major challenges do you perceive? And what role should civil society as well as the international community play to support Nigeria in this effort?
First and foremost, it is important that the national strategy on the fight against corruption is validated and operationalized, so that at all levels, local, state, and national level, Nigerians buy in and really contribute to the fight against corruption at individual, community, at all levels. Secondly, there must be those gaps in our legal framework. For example, we do not have whistleblowing. We do not have, proceeds of crime law. We do not have also compliance on public procurement law, on freedom of information law. Let's close those gaps. Thirdly, let's make sure that political corruption is also dealt with, because the poor electoral system that we have continue to be an opportunity for corrupt public officials to use money laundering and illicit financial flow to finance political activities, so that they capture more offices and continue with the corruption. Again, there must be impunity. There must be lesson for those who perpetuate impunity in this country. That's right. If you don't take action against them, then there's no way you can be able to successfully fight corruption. So let us be honest, sincere, and committed, and be able to lead by example. You cannot be fighting corruption and people who are being tried for corruption. You are now, in fact, some of the people who are even speaking for government, do you know that ICPC is having cases of corruption with them in court? What kind of moral, thing is this? Immoral, very, very immoral people. You are facing corruption charges and they are coming to speak harsh. That where should we talk about corruption? Ideally, if there's a morality, you should have even resigned or step aside. But because there's no shame, and because the government understanding of fighting corruption, it is very narrow, it is not honest, it is not sincere, that's why you are seeing what you are seeing. So fight against corruption must be taken serious, because corruption has led to underdevelopment, corruption has led to insecurity, corruption has led to poverty, corruption has led to collapse of value system in Nigeria. Corruption has led to totally eroding respect of Nigeria when they go out. Just try go to a neighboring country. You see how you are perceived. You see how you are treated, because you are a potential corrupt person. They don't want you to come and corrupt their country. That's why Nigerians are being maltreated all over the world because of the inaction of our government to decisively deal with the corruption. They are barely just reacting instead of preventing the corruption from happening. And let me conclude by saying that civil society is happy to continue to support the effort of government to fight corruption in Nigeria, because it is in our interest that corruption is fought in this country, and we are ready to continue to support anti-corruption agencies to be able to achieve their mandate.
The Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, Awal Ibrahim Musa Rafsanjani, thank you so much for your insightful perspective on this issue.